The Phantom Apprentice continued the final story arc of the Clone Wars Siege of Mandalore. We're now 2 episodes in, with 2 episodes left to go. The next episode will air on the 1st of May, with the final episode airing on May the 4th. So we've got a lot to be excited for this next week. But for today, we're going to look back on all the Easter eggs and a few theories I've got on the past episode. So sit back, relax, and have a cup of melted cheese. Welcome to Star Wars Timelines. So the first thing to mention is we're now well into Revenge of the Sith. Anakin has killed Count Dooku, and Obi-Wan is about to travel to Utapau for his duel with General Grievous. We can also work out now that we're possibly maybe a few minutes, if not an hour or so away from Order 66 in Star Wars Galaxy time. We know that the next 2 episodes appear to cover the journey of Ahsoka and Rex heading back to Coruscant with Maul as their prisoner, with what looks to be Order 66 being executed any minute while they are on their way back to the Republic. Throughout the entire episode, it seems Maul knows what is about to go down, constantly referencing Sidious and his plan. We know Maul has no love for Sidious or the plan since he was replaced by Dooku, but he also has no intention of revealing the plan to Ahsoka so that she could warn the Jedi, as he also has no love for them either. He would also seem to prefer the new order that is about to come, since he knows he will be able to flourish more in it as a criminal mastermind, crime lord. The next big reveal was the return of the Shadow Collective as well as Crimson Dawn. It appears Maul still has ties to the Black Sun and the Pikes, even after the events of the Son of Dathomir comic. We can assume that between the comic and this season, Maul brought both groups back into the fold. The last time we saw Black Sun having any connections with Maul, or even the Black Sun in the Clone Wars at all, was in the comic where it appeared that both the Pikes and Black Sun cut off their partnership with Maul. But in this episode we see Maul talking to both of them again, meaning chances are, as I stated earlier, they have returned to Maul after he survived his duel with Grievous, Dooku and Sidious. Another big part of this scene is the return of Dryden Voss. Now Dryden Voss played a major part in the Solo movie, where it was revealed that he actually works for Maul, where that was revealed at the end. Here we see Dryden talking to Maul, so we now know that Maul was involved with Crimson Dawn from the very beginnings of its formation, even though we sort of kind of had an idea of that beforehand, but this kind of just confirms Dryden Voss was always in partnership with Maul. Now throughout the whole episode, we're constantly getting references to Anakin. Maul has somehow found out that Anakin is Palpatine's chosen apprentice. He doesn't know the name that he will take as the Sith Lord or anything, however he seems to know that Anakin will become the new Sith Lord in the Empire to replace Count Dooku, and that Maul now realises that Dooku was just a pawn and would never have remained Palpatine's apprentice, that Palpatine always planned to replace Dooku. All this in a vision that Maul had received, which is why he led the Republic to come to Mandalore in the hopes of bringing Obi-Wan and Anakin to Mandalore. Obviously this went south when Ahsoka went instead, as Anakin and Obi-Wan were called back to take part in the Battle of Coruscant. Maul planned to kill Anakin to prevent him from ever becoming Sidious's apprentice and disrupting his plans. For a moment, let's imagine Anakin did go to Mandalore with Ahsoka and Obi-Wan went to the Battle of Coruscant, and Anakin was killed by Maul there and then, but Ahsoka was able to capture Maul. Again, I'm not entirely convinced that Maul would have even been able to kill Anakin, but we're just going to pretend he was able to. Now this would mean that Obi-Wan might have faced Dooku alone, in which case he probably would have died, because he did kind of get knocked out during that duel. But let's pretend that, another Jedi went with Obi-Wan to confront Dooku. We'll say Mace Windu or something went to go and do it. So for argument's sake, we'll go with the idea that Dooku was still killed just by Mace Windu or something. Obi-Wan goes to Utapau, fights with General Grievous. Grievous is dead, no more Separatist leadership. We're now on the brink where the Separatists face collapse, and Palpatine has now got to issue his Order 66 plan. It's now or never. So he doesn't have an apprentice now at all. No Anakin and no Count Dooku. And now that Grievous is dead, the Jedi go to make sure Palpatine gives up his emergency powers. At this point, it could go in almost any direction. If Palpatine issues Order 66, the Jedi would be caught off guard and most of the members would die. However, it may not be enough to stop Windu and the other Jedi from storming the Senate building and having their duel with Palpatine. We'll go with the story that Mace was able to defeat him. Without Anakin there, bam, the head goes off. Completely new story now. Chancellor is gone, so we'd assume the clones would now follow the Senate's orders? Of course, how would the Senate react after a Jedi killed the Chancellor? Maybe if somehow the Jedi could prove that Palpatine was a Sith? Now, I could go on forever with this one, but that isn't really the point of this episode as much. However, we will take a moment to look at it from another way. Even if Palpatine successfully killed Windu and the other Jedi, Order 66 is now in motion. There is a genuine possibility that there will be more purged survivors. Without Anakin leading them, the clones might slightly struggle more to kill all the members in the temple. Some Jedi might be able to escape, leading to a possibility of enough escaping to pose a threat to Palpatine if they were able to regroup. The Empire would still be formed. Palpatine would send clones to kill all the leaders on Mustafar to ensure that the secret of his involvement with the CIS would never come up. So the Empire is formed, there are more Jedi survivors, and the Empire is weaker without its enforcer. Palpatine also now does not have an apprentice, so he has to search for one. Problem is now, he's killed all the Jedi, and the rest are completely turned against him. Maul would never become Palpatine's apprentice again, not after everything that Sidious has done to him. And even if Palpatine was able to find an apprentice, he'd need training. And I think it's very safe to say that he would not be as strong as Darth Vader was. So again, the Empire is weaker. Now again, I could continue where this would lead, but perhaps in another video. Perhaps the Jedi would, enough of them survive to lead an assault on Coruscant and take Palpatine down, who knows. But either way, without Anakin, everything changes. So if Maul was able to accomplish this, he'd certainly throw a spanner in Palpatine's entire plan. Now on to our next subject. Ahsoka promised Obi-Wan that she'd speak with Anakin. Now as sad as this is to say, she probably won't. Ahsoka said in Rebels years later after the Clone Wars that the last time she saw Anakin, he was on his way to rescue the Chancellor, which means he probably didn't have a chance to speak with her after that, not until she fought him when he was Darth Vader. Now, I wonder if Ahsoka was able to talk to Anakin. Could she have done anything to change the future? Could she have convinced Anakin to trust the Council? Would she even advised him to trust the Council? Would Anakin have told Ahsoka about his visions regarding Padme? Now, overall, I don't think Ahsoka could have stopped Anakin really. At this point, unless she was physically there with Anakin during the Senate duel, I don't think she would have had a chance of stopping what was to come. What Anakin did was a very in-the-moment reaction. They only saw one way to save Palpatine, thus saving Padme, and that was the one thing he did. After that, it was too late to go back. So, this is my personal theory. If Ahsoka had stayed with Anakin, and not left the Jedi Order at all, I think that may have changed the outcome of this scenario. But I think at this point, even Ahsoka couldn't have stopped what was to come. Not unless she was physically there and stopped Anakin from whopping off Mace Windu's arm. Again, this is just my personal theory. Comment down below if you have another. Now, enough about theories. Let's take a look at some more Easter eggs. Jesse returns and is still alive. This is good news and bad news. The good news is, yay, Jesse! The bad news is we know Rex is going to have to kill him. Rex is going to have to kill Jesse during Order 66 to save Ahsoka, or to escape, or something. I don't want to talk about this anymore since it's going to break me, but yeah, just get ready for Rex to kill Jesse. That's going to happen. Another fun little Easter egg is that at the start of the duel between Ahsoka and Maul, we hear that sound that has been only described so far as a Force scream. The idea is that the Force scream can be used on the victim to throw them off balance, allowing them easier to strike down. Now in canon, there is no Force scream. It is only a Legends named ability. But for the sake of not having to say Palpatine's scream, we'll just call it a Force scream or just scream. Now we hear this scream just as Maul and Ahsoka begin their duel, specifically coming from Maul's side. Now I know I said no more theories, but this is just a small one. What if the scream was there just as Palpatine used it? So while Ahsoka Maul fight, Palpatine is battling Windu at the same time. Just a theory, random little thing, could be a fun idea to think about. Now, the last Easter egg that I'm going to point out is the title of the episode, The Phantom Apprentice. Now, I know it doesn't take much to point out that the title resembles The Phantom Menace, Episode 1, but I did it anyway just then, so sue me. That is all we have for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment down below if any of you have any other theories about this episode, or what you think would happen if Anakin had been killed by Maul. For now, thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.